All right, everybody, welcome. This week we're going to be doing a really exciting training. I'm going to be giving you guys a very direct, immediate plan that you can start implementing every single day in order to optimize your daily routine and have really great mental health. So what I'd really love to do is just have everybody jump in, and I'm going to be doing some Q&A at the end for any questions that we have that are submitted live. So feel free to go ahead and add those in and I will address those. But I'm going to go through this 8-step framework on exactly what you can do daily in order to improve your mental health on a consistent daily basis. Before I jump into the exact 8-step routine that I use to maintain really great mental health, it's also the exact same 8-step routine that we teach our clients. I want to share a little bit about why the daily routine is so absolutely critical and important if you're trying to get the mental health that you really deserve. So one of the big things that I learned early on when I was learning how to help people overcome anxiety and depression is that most people get totally stuck because they're just using simple, basic coping mechanisms. And that becomes a big problem. If you can resonate with that, if you feel like you've been just doing, say, like journaling or breathing exercises or meditation, and those types of things have only gotten you so far and you've gotten a little bit stuck, I would love to know. If you could go ahead in the comments, go ahead and put the word coping if you feel like you've had trouble and you've gotten stuck with just simple coping mechanisms. Okay, I'd love to see some feedback on that, because I know that that was the case for me as well. And so for many of you, maybe you went through a hospitalization or you went through some standard therapy, or you just have been doing some Googling online. You've been trying to figure out what is it that I need to do. And you're using some basic stuff. Those are the three most common: journaling, meditation, breathing exercises. And those can only go so far. The other challenge with coping mechanisms, two big challenges. One big challenge is that coping mechanisms rely on the assumption that you are going to still be struggling with anxiety or depression indefinitely, like for the rest of your life. And so a coping mechanism is only designed to react to the existing emotional issue. It's not designed to prevent the original emotional issue. And so what we want to do is we need to optimize a regular daily routine that actually ensures that those emotional issues become less and less prevalent in your daily life, okay? And that's when I started to realize that the key to living a depression and anxiety-free life is not through coping strategies, okay? What it is about, what is required, is you need conditioning strategies. Okay? You have to train the brain. Because some of you guys have tried this thing where you go, okay, you know what? I need to be more positive. I'm going to try to think more positively. And you give that a try for a couple days or maybe a couple weeks, and then it doesn't really go so well, right? You feel like that natural pull of your brain to want to go into the negative mode is still so predominant that it seems like it's a total waste of time. It seems like you're, it's like a drop in the ocean, right? Like no matter how much you try to instill positive thinking, it just doesn't seem to work. You've got all of this momentum and force working against you, and that can become a big problem. Okay, if you can relate to that, I'd love to see. Just go ahead and let me know in the comments if that's you, or give me a thumbs up. Okay, I see a couple coming in. Okay, so the key then is to make sure that you can train the brain to think how you want it to think by default, to feel how you want it to feel by default. I'm not talking about perfection here. I'm just saying that we want to get it to where your brain is defaulting to positivity more so than negativity, right? Where you are going into that positive headspace consistently on a regular basis. That's what we're really after. And that is absolutely possible. But in order to do that, there is a specific sequence that has to be understood, okay? And so this is what I want you to do. These are some good writer-downers. Okay, so the first big thing that I want you to recognize, okay, is that actions always create consequences. So the way I want you to write this down in your notes is actions equal results. Okay, if you prefer, you could think of it as inputs equal outputs. Okay, so what I've come to learn over the years is depression, anxiety, right? The experience of anxiety and depression, it's a very real thing, but what it is it's a byproduct of certain mental and emotional habits. Okay, so certain ways of your brain processing information, certain ways of your brain focusing on information, certain ways of your brain talking to itself, certain things that you do with your physical body. Okay, there's a list of about 36 different habits that most people are completely unaware of that they have inside of their nervous system that they've developed over the years. Some of those habits you may have been holding on to since your teens. So for example, I'll give you just a simple, silly example that just about everybody can relate to would be internal dialogue. Okay, so the actual words that you choose. Okay, so one of those would be the word can't. Okay, so in all of my work with our clients, what I've found is that can't is the most used word by anxious people. Okay, and it is also the word in the human language that induces the most anxiety, typically. So if you have a regular habit of saying can't, okay, just go ahead and let me know in the comments. I'd love to see that, if you can write the word can't, right, if that's a problem for you, because I know it has been for me at different chapters in my life. All right, so if you use the word can't, what happens inevitably is that it immediately makes you feel trapped and anxious. Every time you utter that word, it will make you feel like you have less choices than you actually have. Very often we're telling ourselves, I can't do something, when we actually can do something. Right? But when we keep telling ourselves, I can't, you feel that that's the case. You believe anything that you tell yourself on a regular basis. Okay? Your mind will believe anything you tell yourself on a regular basis. So if we develop the habit of using certain words, it will literally fire off the biochemistry inside of our body of anxiety. So this is why people think that depression and anxiety is simply a biochemical issue. Because if you go to a psychiatrist, you say, hey, I'm feeling anxious, hey, I'm feeling depressed. They can say, great, here's some anti-anxiety medications, here's some antidepressant medications. You can take those medications, they might make you feel a little bit better. Why? Because your nervous system is firing off all of this anxiety or depression biochemistry, and then you bring in antidepressants or anti-anxiety medications, and it kind of lowers those biochemicals in your brain. That's not exactly how it works, but for our purposes, that's essentially what happens. But if you keep saying the word can't 1,000 times a day, I can't this, I can't that, I can't this, I can't that, I can't that. Think about every time you use that word as like taking a tiny little anxiety-inducing pill. So every time you use that word, it fires off the anxiety biochemistry. So if you take medication, yes, it might be kind of like a Band-Aid on the bullet wound, but if you don't deal with all the tiny microscopic habits that you're doing that cause you to feel depressed, that cause you to feel anxious, then it's going to feel like a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. It's never really going to feel like a lasting solution. Okay? So what I have spent my career doing, my obsession doing, is figuring out what are all of the tiny little habits that cause depression and cause anxiety, and then what are all the habits that cause people to feel fulfilled and peace of mind and excited and motivated and all of those great things. Because here's the key thing I want you to hear, and hear me very, very clearly. This is really important. If you model someone else's habits who has good mental health, you also can have good mental health. Okay, now that may not seem very believable to you because we have, in our society, we have all these preconceived notions of what causes depression and anxiety. We think it's because of our childhood, it's because of our genetics. Now, don't get me wrong, those play a factor. Okay, but in the 400 plus people we have helped create successful anxiety and depression recoveries, what I've learned is, doesn't matter how difficult of a child you have or what your genetics are, if we get you following the right habits, you will get the right results. Bad habits get you bad results. Good habits get you good results. Okay, because for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction in your body, in your system, in your emotions. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through this little daily routine. Now, are these all of the habits that you need? No, but this is a very integral step. This is probably 5 to 10% of what you need if you really want to live an anxiety and depression-free lifestyle. This is a very important piece of it. And if you just followed this for the next 60, 90 days, you'd probably be in fact, I would guarantee it. I would literally guarantee it. You follow this routine to a T for the next 30 days, you are going to have a substantially better mental health than you have today. I would bet any amount of money that that's the case if you actually do it and you do it consistently, okay? So if you'd like to hear the habits, okay, if you're excited to hear the habits, just go ahead and type in the comments, habits, please. Okay, I'd love to see that. All right, I see one coming in. Awesome, thank you. See a second one there. Great. And you might even want to guess what some of those habits might be, right? What is it that you think creates good mental health as opposed to bad mental health, right? So I'm going to start sharing them with you immediately right now. Okay, so here we go. And by the way, this is exactly what we teach our clients. Our clients get a little bit more of a like an hour-long training with this, but I'm going to give you guys all 8, and we're going to cover this, and I'll cover any questions that you guys have at the end, okay? So the very first habit for good mental health is, number 1, you need to wake up at the same time every single day. Okay, now some of these habits, I'm not going to go into the whole big long spiel as to why you need to do these things, but I just need you need to have a little trust that it just works. I have validated this. I've done this many times in my own life. And again, like I said, we've had over 400 clients who've used this. It just works. But the big reasons why you want to wake up at the same time every day, 2 big ones. The first one is it regulates your circadian rhythm. So a lot of times people who are having depression or anxiety, what's happening there is if you stay up late and then you sleep in and your sleep schedule gets all off, then that is the fastest way to deregulate your moods, right? If your sleep schedule is off, your emotions and your moods are more than likely going to be off. So it gives you less of a sense of control, gives you less of a sense of predictability. It becomes a big problem in terms of your biology and your biochemistry. Okay, the second big reason why we want to do this is because you're going to have additional habits that you're going to be following. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to kickstart you feeling progress, okay? I want you to write this in the comments, please. Progress equals happiness. Progress equals happiness. If you're feeling depressed or you're not feeling as happy as you'd like to be, it's because you're not feeling progress, okay? If you can resonate with that, please write progress equals happiness in the comments and jot it down in your notes as well. Okay, I've found this to be the case every single time. Whenever I've got a client who's especially feeling depressed, it's because they're not feeling like they're making progress. The beauty of this habit, these sets of habits, these 8 things that you're going to be doing, is it makes you make progress every single day of your life. And as you start to feel like you're making progress, your depression is going to go down and your anxiety levels almost always are going to go down. Okay, so you're going to wake up at the same time every day. That's number 1. Number 2, what you're going to do as well, okay, this is actually a thing to not do, all right, which I'm not usually in the habit of advising, but I didn't know of any other way to kind of describe this, because some people will do this, and it's an important thing to not do, okay? Do not look at your notifications or go to distractions within the first hour of waking up, okay? Do not go to your phone and look at your notifications, look at social media, look at your email, look at your text messages. Do not, under any circumstances, go to your notifications within the first hour of waking up. Okay? Now, there's been all sorts of science that's been done on this by people way smarter than me that have figured out that when you do this, you train your brain to be unfocused. Okay, when you overly use technology, particularly whenever you get a notification, when you train your brain to immediately go to that notification right away, you're going to train your brain to not be able to focus. Okay, and some of you guys, I know just about all of you, probably have some difficulties with focus. If you think about it, anxiety is very much a measure of how unfocused the mind is. Right? I often have said that an anxious mind is simply an untrained mind, right? Because if you have an anxious mind, it means your mind is starting here and here and here and here and this. Okay, and you may not think about it. You might think that just going to social media and like checking your email is totally unrelated to your anxiety, but I promise you it is absolutely related to your mental health, because what you're doing is you're training the way that your brain sorts information and what it focuses on. Okay, there's another big reason why you want to do this. When you go and open up your email in particular, for those of you guys who are like, have a job that relies a lot on email, what that immediately does is it causes you to focus on other people's demands for your time. Your inbox is the perfect tool for other people to manage your time. It is not a good tool for you to manage your time. So when you totally get yourself focused on that, it's going to make you feel stressed out. Okay, you're either going to focus on other people's demands, or you're going to focus on what you have to do, your to-dos, right? And so what we're doing through this 8-step daily routine is we are getting your brain to be totally focused on how you want the day to go. Okay, you need to get back into a place of authority and agency in your own life. The more out of control you feel with your life, the more anxious and depressed you're going to feel. Okay, so you got to make sure that you avoid notifications. Do not go to notifications. Okay, if this makes sense to you, please in the comments put notifications. Right? No notifications. Let's do that. Right? That's going to be your new mantra for the morning. Put no notifications in the comments. Okay? Because I'm going to show you exactly what to do instead. Okay, so step 3. So you wake up. You don't go to your phone. So what do you do instead? Well, number 3, you're going to immediately get your ass out of bed. Okay? And for some of you, you're not going to like this, right? Because a lot of you guys are used to waking up and immediately wanting to go back to bed, right? Wanting to snooze, wanting to stay. But that is part of the problem. Because when you do that, it trains the brain to want to focus more so on comfort, but just focusing on comfort primarily will not actually make you feel fulfilled. Right? What we've got to do is actually get you to a place where you're feeling some sense of progress on a daily basis. So what you're going to do is immediately get your butt out of bed. Do not hesitate. Do not wait. Just do it. Okay? There's a little tip from Mel Robbins. She calls it the 5-second rule. Okay? So essentially what you can do is you can count down from 5. So in your head or out loud, you go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then just immediately get your butt out of bed. Okay? Is the simplest way to do that. And make your bed. Okay, the reason why you want to make your bed is, again, progress equals happiness. And many of you guys, particularly if you're feeling depressed, you're not feeling a sense of accomplishment. You're not feeling like you're making any type of headway in your life. And there's another key phrase that you might find helpful to write down, which is you can only build on success. Right? So a lot of you guys are in this mental habit of focusing on everything that you dislike in your life, everything that you feel is going wrong, all of the things that you think you've done wrong. And the more you focus on what you think is going wrong, the less motivation you feel. So you'll never motivate yourself by focusing on what you think is going wrong. You have to kickstart the process of doing something that you can actually be proud of. And I have tested this myself and with my clients, and it works every time. If you get up immediately and you make your bed, firstly, you're essentially making sure that you're not going to get back in bed, which is valuable. And then the other thing is now you've got your first accomplishment of the day. It's done. It's over, right? You may have heard of this. If you ever want to, sometime Google "make your bed marine" speech, right? And there's a gentleman who is kind of famous for giving this like commencement speech to college kids and talks about making your bed. Okay, so just get up, make your bed. That's number 3. Okay, number 4. And by the way, I'm going to pause real quick because some of you guys are already thinking like, oh my gosh, this is going to be challenging. This is going to be tough. It's instead of calling it hard, say that it's new, right? So instead of languaging it to yourself of like, oh, this is so hard, just say this is new. Because if you think about it, any habit that you've ever built in your life feels hard in the very beginning, but it's not even necessarily hard. It's just that it's new. Like, do you guys remember what it was like when you were learning how to tie your shoes? Like, try to remember when you were 4 or 5 years old and you're learning how to tie your shoes. You remember how damn difficult that was? How like impossible that felt? The reason why that felt impossible is just because you hadn't created the pathway in your brain yet to get that job done. We call it a pathway of power. You hadn't conditioned or trained your brain to actually do that. But is tying your shoes really hard, right? Is it like hard labor? Is anybody like beating you or, doing anything dramatic? Is it really like a dangerous, hard thing? No, of course not. You're just tying your shoes. So it's not that it's a hard thing. It's just that it's a new thing. Okay, so you're going to feel a drive and an impulse to not engage in these habits initially, but you can train yourself to do that. And by the way, at the end, I'll give you some tips for implementing these. I'll show you a very step-by-step process to get all 8 of these happening every day that works really well, okay? So we've got through the first 3. Number 4, you're going to do some form of exercise that challenges you. Okay, the important thing is it needs to challenge you. Okay, so 20 minutes is the minimum of what you want to do. Okay, now you can start small, right? If you feel like you're really out of shape, you're overweight, go for a walk. That's totally fine. Anybody can go out for a walk for 20 minutes, right? That would be totally fine. Doing that every morning is going to, again, make you feel a sense of progress. A couple of reasons why we do this. Number 1, you start improving your physical health, so you start feeling a sense of progress. You start feeling more proud of yourself, helps your self-esteem. Number 2, literally wakes you up. Okay. Number 3, changes your biochemistry, starts getting your serotonin, your endorphins, the dopamine, all of that working in the direction that we need it to. And you need a healthy biochemical cocktail in order to have good mental health. Just do it and it works. Just 20 minutes, but it needs to be something that challenges you. So on a scale of 0 to 10, it needs to be kind of in that like 6 to 7 range at least, or something a little bit higher. So that's why over time, you'll want to challenge yourself with more difficult things, okay, as time goes on. All right, number 5, you need to do your daily conditioning ritual. Okay, this is really, really important. All right, so you have to do something to train your brain to think and feel how you want it to think and feel every single day. So this is exactly what we teach our clients. By the time they've finished the program that we take them through, we make sure they have a very simple daily system to maintain their sustainability. And what I have learned over the years is that 9 times out of 10, so long as that client stays with that system and just sticks with it, they ensure that they will not have a relapse. The only 1 out of 10 situation that I run into where a small temporary relapse occurs is if they run into some big new life-altering event, like a divorce or a job change or a sickness or something like that. And we have a whole other step-by-step process for dealing with crises. Right? So long as we teach them how to deal with crises and problems, and we teach them the daily system that they need to condition their brain, they're good to go. Okay, now for you, since it takes hours and hours for us to teach you all the daily conditioning stuff that you might need, so I'm not going to have time to go through all of that, but you really need to have a simple process that you use every day that takes like 10 minutes or less to train your brain to think positively or to feel better, okay? And so we customize those for our clients. For you, you may already know what that might be for you. For some of you, you know that like if you just meditate every single day, that alone will train your brain to be less anxious. For some of you, you have no clue what your body is going to respond to, and that's okay as well. If you would like, we have a free ebook. It's called the 15-Minute Daily Habit to Train Your Brain to Think Positively. Just comment ebook on this live stream here and we'll get you that ebook. We'll send you a link, and that's a good way to get started completely for free with a simple little routine, okay? But here's one thing that you want to write down. Remember what I said. Actions equal results. Habitual actions equal habitual results, okay? In the comments, could you guys please write actions equal results? Actions equal results, okay? So here's what I want you to get. If you don't have the mental health that you want right now, it's not because you're destined, it's not because you're broken, it's not because you've done anything wrong, it's not because your parents were dicks to you as a kid that you're just now going to be depressed and anxious for the rest of your life, right? You may have gone through very troubling, traumatic things in the past. I'm not invalidating that. I'm just telling you that if you really want to have good mental health, the only thing between you having the mental health that you want and where you are right now is you don't know the right habits, okay? And this daily routine is one of those sets of habits, as I've said, okay? That's what it requires. All right, so you need a daily conditioning ritual to train your brain to think and feel how you want it to think and feel, okay? We have a very particular guided meditation that we give people, and then we also have what we call a values integration process, where it's essentially a way for you reaffirming on a daily basis what you really want your life to be about and where your life is headed. Okay, so that's kind of what we do. Number 6, okay, the 6th thing that you're going to do every single day is you're going to log every celebration from the previous day. Okay, this one's actually a fun one. Okay, remember how I was saying that you can only build on success, you can't build on failure? Right? As in psychologically, we have to first give ourselves that validation that we've done something to succeed, and then we can start to feel momentum. That's why we're having you get out of bed right away and make your bed, because that's a small, tiny piece of momentum. Then you go, you do your workout, right? Then you, after you've done your workout, you're like, holy shit, I already made my bed and I did a workout today. Holy cow, my life is moving in the right direction, right? Now you got momentum really working for you. Then you go and you train your brain to think and feel how you want it to. You're like, holy cow, not only did I improve my physical health, I improved my emotional health today. That's a huge amount of progress. Now what you're going to do is you're going to journal. I do it in a Google document because I like to be able to go and search for things later on, but you can do it handwritten, that's fine. You can do it on a sticky note, I don't really care. But you're going to log your celebrations, right? You're going to put down every little thing that you could be proud of. Couple reasons why I want to do this. Number one, boosts self-esteem. Number two, creates momentum. Number three, trains your brain to search and scan for what is going right in your life as opposed to what's going wrong. And that's the most important part. You got to train the brain to celebrate, to look for things worthy of celebrating. Because if you're not feeling happy and celebratory right now in your life, it's not so much because your life totally sucks. It's because your mind is so used to only focusing on what you dislike in your life, right? So when you get your brain to search out and find new information, you will find celebrations, okay? So if you wouldn't mind in the comments, go ahead and write the word celebrate, right? You got to celebrate. As one of my mentors told me once, you don't need a reason to celebrate, right? Anybody can celebrate at any time, and you need to start building the habit of celebrating in your life if you want to have good mental health, okay? Really important thing. Got to celebrate. All right, number 7. This is where we get to the more nitty-gritty stuff, all right? What you're going to do now is you're going to set an intentional plan for how you want your day to go, and you're going to schedule blocks of time to make progress on your wheel of life. Okay, the wheel of life is a whole other separate training. I will be happy to share that with you. We do have an old version of that that's available for free. The Wheel of Life essentially is a way to figure out where you stand in all 6 areas of your life, and then how to create a plan to improve all of those areas of your life. Okay, if you'd like access to that, just comment wheel, and we'll be happy to get you access to that. Okay, but essentially what we do is for our clients, right? Like I said, I'm giving you the exact same routine that we teach our clients. We do the Wheel of Life, we figure out where do you stand in each one of those areas, and we create a vision of how you want each area of your life to be. Okay, if you are currently feeling depressed, it's because you do not have a compelling vision of the future. It means that whenever your mind thinks about the future, you imagine bad things, right? So what we have to do is we have to use a set of mental tools to help you craft a vision of the future that is exciting, that you believe in, that you're excited about. So what we've got to do then, once we've got the vision of how you want your life to be, is we then create an intentional plan for how you're going to make progress each day of getting closer to that vision. And that's through a process that we call time blocking. Okay, time blocking would simply be, let's say you do this routine at like 8 a.m., you get done with the routine at 9 a.m., you would then say, okay, great, from 9 to 10, I'm going to go, call my clients. From 10 to 11, I'm going to go talk to our existing customers. From 1 to 3, I'm going to plan a really nice date night for me and my fiance for this weekend because I really want to connect with them. From 3 to 4, I'm going to go pick the kids up from school and I'm going to give them total love and affection. Right? So it's essentially what you're doing is you're intentionally planning out your day. Okay, so this is another good thing to remember is that anxiety comes about because we are in reaction to the world. Okay, fulfillment comes about because we are intentional, like we are deciding this is what I want, this is where I'm going, this is how I'm going to spend my time. That's what creates fulfillment. What creates anxiety is when you go, all right, I guess I just got to respond to everybody else and everybody else's demands, and I just have to do all these things. So what you got to do is start to reaffirm your definition of what you really want in your life. Okay, so that's step 7. The basics, if you're just getting started with this, is plan your day. Literally plan the day and how you want the day to go. Okay, and then number 8, and then I'm going to do Q&A for anybody who's got questions. Or I see we're getting some love in the comments. Thanks, guys, for being here. I love having you guys in the community. Okay, number 8 is you got to go eat something nourishing for your body. Keyword nourishing. All right, something that actually makes you feel healthier. Right, I highly recommend something in the realm of fruit, vegetables. You can be a crazy man like me and drink your celery juice if that's what you want to do. Okay, but it needs to be something that is not going to bring your mood down, okay? It's totally fine if you want to go get McDonald's breakfast every once in a while, okay? Particularly if you just did a workout or you did something else worth celebrating, okay? But you don't want to get in the habit of doing that every single day. You want to make sure that you are routinely doing something that's actually nourishing for your body, okay? That's the key important thing, okay? So I'm going to remind you of 2 other resources if you want additional help, and then also I've got a special additional resource for you guys that we're happy to provide for you too. So number 1, if you would like our 15-minute daily habit to train your brain to think positively, that's an ebook. You can comment ebook, okay, and myself or a team member will get that to you. Number 2, if you would like our training on what we call the Wheel of Life, right, which kind of complements with this training today, just comment the word wheel and we'll get that to you. And then finally, also what we're doing kind of special for this month, this week really, is I'm doing free coaching sessions. So if you have not ever done a free coaching session with me, every single member of the community is entitled to have a free coaching session. And this is literally a completely, totally free coaching session. There's no ask, there's no agenda. I'm literally just helping you out for 25 minutes. So we dig in, I will cover as much ground as I possibly can with you and just help you out. Totally free coaching session. If at the end of the coaching session you want to talk again about being a client, cool. If you don't, that is totally cool, and I will just give you a full 30 minutes of my time and just help you out as best as I possibly can, okay? So if you would like to do a free coaching session, right, we have just a couple slots left for this upcoming 7-day period. And what I'm happy to do on that coaching session is help you customize your own specific routine. So we can take the best of what we just wrote down here. I can go into more depth on the daily routine that you really need, right? Would be a really good thing that we can do. Or we can talk about any other topic that we need to get you the best results possible, okay? If you want to do that, all I need you to do is just go ahead and comment in the comments here, free session. Okay, just comment free session, and we'll be happy to go ahead and book that with you. And if you are listening to this training after the fact on our podcast, you can go to mentalhealthcoaching.com and book a session with us there. Okay, but if you're a member of our Facebook community, we'd love to interact with you and get answers to a couple questions, just so we can provide the most valuable aspect for you as we possibly can on the coaching session. So just type free session and we'll be happy to help you out, okay? So I love that we had so many people joining in today. It's been fantastic serving you guys. I hope you found this to be valuable. Please let us know what you think in the comments and if we can support you further. And also mark your calendars, because going forward, every single Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, I'm going to be doing a live training like this in our Facebook community every single week, Thursday at 2 o'clock, okay? Sharing the best of what's working and giving you guys all of the tidbits to help you improve your mental health, okay? So thanks again for tuning in, guys, and I'll be excited to see you next time. See ya. Bye.